always be with them and in their new adventures, their new opportunities. And thank you for the opportunities we've been given and the ability to complete them. But most of all, thank you, dear Lord, for your unconditional love. You're an ever-present source of comfort and hope, and we just want to say thank you. Amen.
Would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Definitely. And again, as we say the pledge, think about the words and those that have made the sacrifice to make this country what it was and is today. So if you would join me, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We have kind of a lengthy agenda today, so we want to get started.
I'm glad you didn't call it short.
Yeah, right.
I did not put a time frame. So our first item is 9 a.m. for Superior Court Judge William Fee. There will be nobody from Superior Court in attendance as they are in the final days of their trial that's taking place. So the request is additional appropriation request out of Fund 2539 for jury pay of $10,000.
Would you like a motion?
I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I would second.
Okay, Ruth and Christina. All right, I'll call for vote. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Ian, 4, 5, and Dan is 6.
Very good. So moving on to Circuit Court Judge Lauer. He has an additional appropriation request for jury pay of $12,000. I don't see anybody representative of Circuit. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, have a first and a second. I'll call for vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0.
6.
All right, Pam.
Good morning.
Hey.
First, I would like to introduce you to Trinity Wright. She is our new JDAI coordinator. She has actually worked with JDAI since 2022, so we're very glad to have her on now as the coordinator.
What was her name again, Pam? I'm sorry.
Trinity.
Trinity, right?
Yes.
Hi, Trinity. Hi, that's me.
Congratulations.
Yes. So we're here today. We had received some grant money and we found out it hadn't been appropriated. So
That's the best kind of thing to come in front of us.
we have the money.
That tall cop sorry, can you speak?
Go ahead.
That tall cop presentation was really
Very informative.
very enlightening. Sad, but it was a good fall retreat for the.
I thought it was, I'm actually going to see him in Indianapolis next weekend.
Oh, do you?
too. He's
Okay.
one presenter at my county. Yeah, really good information.
Really good information.
No more questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Lisa Walter. All right, have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Guys.
All right, we're at, so we're running ahead of schedule. Do we have Cheryl Kelly present or she's going to be in attendance?
She was, however, she had a family emergency.
Okay.
There was a death in the family, so she was unable to attend.
So we'll skip ahead. We'll skip Brett. He normally.
So
So we can do Cheryl if you want.
So we'll do Cheryl, additional appropriation request, Fund 1107 per diem, $2,000. Do we have any backstory to this, or Lisa?
There's just been a lot of extra meetings.
Okay. Just need a little
Enough
extra.
money in there.
Is this already spent or is this anticipated?
Good question. I don't know how they pay it. I don't know how often they pay it.
In the explanation there, the reason it says will be
It'll
needed.
be needed, yeah.
So
To get them through the end of the year,
Mhm.
from what I understand.
They had we lost figurehead out there. It's a lot to pick up,
A lot, and with all
to
of
replace
the
someone like that.
projects that's going on, we had a lot of extra meetings.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion for the $2,000 per diem additional appropriation request.
I'll make a motion.
So Aldrich,
I will second.
Bigger. All right, no further questions. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. Gotta keep the numbers up at the screen.
I'm way to that.
I find I can look there too and you can.
Oh, there he is. Yep, in the background. All right, do we know if Aaron's gonna make it for aviation? If not,
Excuse me, he is not going to make it. We just spoke on the phone.
okay, would you?
Yes, so
Yeah,
the
yes.
buildings, repairs and maintenance are from the accident with the skydiver. And we are being reimbursed by skydiving company.
So we're just putting it back into the
We're just
line.
putting it back in.
Okay. Very good.
Under normal circumstances, it would have went directly into the general fund, but in this instance, because of who was paying it and him needing it back in this particular fund, that's why the request for the additional, so that it goes directly into the fund that it came out of and not into general.
So it's a reimbursement.
It's a
It's
reimbursement.
exactly like we did with, for RJ's medical.
Correct.
Thank you, Lisa, for your insight on both those topics. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
CC,
Now second.
Lisa Aldrich. All right, first and a second, no further discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right. Sheriff, would you like to come up since you're here? We'll skip ahead to you and give opportunity for the rest of them.
Oh, Chip's here.
That's okay. We'll come back to him. Yep.
Give me a second to get up to your page.
Yes, but if somebody gets there before me, they tell me what number it is.
At 12:22.
Ours is just trying to figure out what number it is.
I'm just throwing numbers at you.
That's so helpful. Thank you.
Chip's taking a lot of
Yeah.
line items.
And then you have to go past Nick.
Nick,
About 28. Page.
there it is.
You were right.
Yes.
Yay.
You got to beat him again.
Maybe we're letting you win since it's your last day.
All right, Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, council and auditor.
Morning.
The funds transfer request is for, I'll just call it benefits, FICA perf, that additional 3%. This is what's on top of that for the benefit package
Oh, okay.
that wasn't calculated.
Looks like this is cleaned up. Huh?
Yes, it is.
And there's plenty of room in your line to take it, just to make it out till the end of the year.
That's where it's coming from. I have to tell you, this is new to me. I've never, ever asked for additionals in this area. So this was suggested out of the auditor's office.
It's just to get them through the end of the
It's
year.
technically a transfer, right?
Yeah,
Not
it's
additional.
I got to jump through my paperwork.
That's why it's listed funds transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Just clean up to the end of the year.
And I believe the cause is that additional 3%.
What's that?
It is, it was.
Yeah.
It was the additional 3%.
Yes, I will entertain a motion. Rick Scheit,
I will second it.
PC. All right. Got a first and a second. If no further discussion, all in favor, raise your hand. 6-0.
The question about TechCom before we switch. Do you still have open positions in your dispatch?
Yes, I believe I have one.
This one?
Yes.
Thank you. I was just curious.
I've got one.
Thank you. That was my lunch.
Yeah, okay.
Good morning, Chip. You want to go a little? Chip?
Yeah.
Oh, Brett slipped in too. Sorry, Brett.
Sorry, Brett. I saw him back there.
Okay, hold on.
12 is the beginning part of his email.
Tell me when you're ready and I'll start.
Chip, we're ready.
Hackathon. Okay, just general update, things that changed since the update is under Fund 1135, Cume Bridge. We were awarded last week our application for small scope 97. So we're preparing bid documents right now. We plan on going this year still. So we'll have that project awarded at this year, which is replacing a corrugated metal pipe down by Hudson. Nothing new on 1169, 1173. We didn't finish the application for the special call for safety projects that we put in back in October. NDOT doesn't have a deadline right now for when they're going to award those projects, so we're just waiting and seeing. County Road 200 North, obviously that's open. We did finish that project 7 weeks ahead of schedule. So there was a change order during the project, so the project ran $73,000 budget, which I have the money for our portion of that change order, so we'll get that taken care of. 100 North, 200 West roundabout. We were down to 2 parcels that we were trying to acquire. One parcel has signed, the other parcel we're still working on. But we're still working towards that project. Pretty much have everything ready for completion of this year's Community Crossings Matching Grant paving project. So here at the beginning of December, we will close that project out. And we'll have everything ready for the next round in January. We already got the roads we'd like to do picked and measured up and quantities and everything ready. We just got to wait till January to make official approvals. Be working on our capital plan this fall. And the fueling center in 1176. The tanks are supposed to show up on Friday. And they're supposed to be spending the following week after. So this week, things show up. Next week, they should pretty much get it all set up and be done. That project will be done. Great.
And then that'll conclude all your really big projects that you were doing this year, right? The salt barn, the.
Yes. As far as outline transfers, I have an outline transfer request to move the $10,000 from equipment rental to lumber and building supplies. We did a lot of work on the building this year and we need to fix, repair a couple more items if we can fund it. And $13,610.76 from a part-time mechanic, which we lost our part-time mechanic to utilities. Same deal, just doing more repairs. Good fun.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion each direction if we take all of these, or if you want to go one at a time. 3 of them are salt and calcium. 1 of them lumber and building, and the other one for utilities. Why don't we do the salt and calcium as a group, the 3 of those, and then we'll take the other 2 separately.
And I move to approve.
Ruth moves to approve for $2,200.
And the 250
Okay.
Second that.
Ruth, Rick Scheib. So we have a first and second. Any further discussion?
I have a question. I thought you'd already, so this is, they gave you extra salt, right? Is this the one that I
Yeah,
read?
so-
They gave you extra salt? Didn't you
So
already?
usually I order salt and the truck drivers get confused and they go to the NDOT salt bar. And then I have to call them and remind them that I haven't got my salt yet. But they were hauling to us. We had ordered all of our salt. And they ended up bringing 4 extra loads because they were supposed to go to NDOT this time. And so I said, I'd see if I could pay the bill before I
Tell them to take it back. Didn't you
tell them to take
already
it back.
order a ton more salt than we normally do
Yes,
to work over? And then you got 4 loads above that?
yes,
But we have a barn now to keep it in,
yes.
and it will weather well for a year if need be.
And it's not,
Good. Anything else, Christina?
No, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
yeah, it's nice that it went the other way for once.
If no further discussion, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right, so I will entertain a motion for the lumber and building supply transfer request of $10,000.
Make a motion.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
So. Okay.
Are you gonna
Thought up.
post your part-time mechanic spot or not?
Okay.
Are you not gonna post it at all?
I'm not gonna post it at all.
All right, I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0.
Was that part-time position in your budget for next year?
No, it was, we budgeted for our 2 full-time mechanics, but one of them's currently on. Is employed. And so since we lost the part-time mechanic that you guys let me create a position for to help fill that, he's already kind of informed us, we're like kind of in a 3-month window where he might be back within 3 months, so.
It's hold out. Thank you.
Hopefully he's back in 3 months. Hopefully he's back in 3 months.
All right, we'll entertain a motion for the part-time mechanic to utility transfer request of $13,676.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
so Aldrich. All right, have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right, thank you, Chip.
Thank you.
Up to Brett.
Brett, we're back to Brett. Thank you, Brett, for being patient.
Not a problem.
Brett has quite a few transfer requests. Looks like cleanup,
Yes.
city year cleanup.
Because everything is, everything else is zeroed out. And then the money can just be used for insurance and all these things.
It looks like it's all the same phone number to the same phone number throughout all these requests, correct?
Correct.
Anybody have any questions for Brett before we move forward with end of the year cleanup? right, so I feel comfortable asking for a motion for all of these in one vote.
All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Second.
Here. Christina Chris. I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
That was painless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Debbie Anderson.
Yes.
20 minutes ahead of schedule.
You call her?
No, you're good. You're good. We got enough we can fill in for. What do you need to knock you out?
I'm assuming
We're gonna knock out Kelly. Let's not do that.
that seemed very aggressive.
Been fighting. You got approval of ordinance number 1023. That's
I want to
great.
do that last.
Okay,
That's-
do that last.
that's salary
Anything you
ordinance.
want to talk about now, or if not, we'll.
Oh, wait a minute. 1023. No, we can do that. That's the dog tax. Let's do that one and get that one out of the way.
All right, so we discussed last month about rescinding the Steuben County option dog tax ordinance. Kelly has that prepared and ready for our signature.
The only thing I will tell you, over the course of the years, and look this up, and no, I have it right here. See if I left it in there. Since its inception, it was a long time ago,
My dad was on.
we do have, there is $6,102.53 still in there after giving the state theirs and the humane shelter there, 50 cents or 75 cents or whatever it was per tag. So once this is rescinded, or you can do it today, you need to decide what to do with that $6,102.53. Whether you want it to roll into the general fund, whether you want it to be given somewhere else, that's up to you guys. But that, I just want you to know that that is what is remaining in there. And that's been since its inception, which was 2006.
So we put it in and then we never used the money.
Never used it for anything. Well, part of it had to go to the state. We gave, based on how the ordinance read, we gave the humane shelter their few cents for each tag that they reported. But we always had the cost to buy the tags too. Some years we got in a little bit more than what the tags cost. Some years we didn't. So this is just since 2006, what is still in there. But I still need this rescinded if we could, please.
So this will be second reading.
You can do second and third.
We can do second and third reading on the ordinance today, and then you can keep it in the forethought of your mind, and we'll discuss it in the December meeting of the $6,102.53. Mr. President?
Thanks, Mr. Harder. I just wanted to have council have an opportunity to have a little discussion about where that money went. I just had a few thoughts on that, either to the humane shelter to support their operating efforts, or to the canine part of the sheriff's department.
Lots of.
That was an affirmative, right?
That's wonderful. Okay, so let's break this down into two parts. So let's move forward with the second and third reading of ordinance number 1023, and then we'll circle back around with the allocation of the remaining funds.
You want a motion?
I'd
I
love to have
move
a
to
motion.
approve on second and third reading the rescinding of the dog
Ordinance
option.
numbers.
Yeah.
52.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay, Lisa? All right, we have a first, we have a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. 6-0. Okay, very good.
And based on documentation I've received from Don, second and third could be done in one reading right
Okay.
now.
So there's that.
That's what Bruce.
That was
And that's
the
what I
motion.
said, second and third. Okay.
Okay, now let's circle back around. We have $6,102.53 remaining in that fund. What are people's wishes on what we do with that, Mr. President?
I'd be amenable to splitting it amongst the two equally.
3,000 to the humane shelter and the 310253 to the sheriff's department.
Sounds good. Go ahead, Christina.
We just, with the humane shelter, did the vehicle. There's also a hunk of what we appropriated to non-for-profits that'll go to them. My thought is it all goes to the sheriff
Okay.
or K-9 is my thought.
All right. So I will entertain a motion. We'll take it through the proper channels and see how our vote goes. How's that?
Absolutely fine. So I will make a motion that the full
10253.
102.53 is all transferred into the line item for the sheriff's K-9 unit.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Check. And just kind of further discussion and conversation with the sheriff. He's, one of his K-9 handlers is promoting up to a detective. And so he will be bringing a new K-9 and handler into the department. So, good purpose, good cause here
And we lost
to
a
help
dog.
with that.
And we lost a dog this last year.
Recently, yeah.
All right, so I have a first, I have a second to allocate the $6,102.53 to the K-9 program for the Steuben County Sheriff's Office. Any further discussion? If not, I will entertain, raise your right hand if in favor. Have five, all opposed, the same? Five. 5-1, I'll go to the K program of the Sheriff's Office. Good to stop with where you're at and go on to Jason then. Give us just a second here to.
No, that's okay. I gotta find it too.
Our director.
Page 28. No, 29. I apologize. Yeah, it starts on first. Jeez.
$950. Okay, you ready for Jason?
Yep.
Jason, if you'd like to come up, we'll get you taken care of since you're on call and gonna be responding today. You have to get through your presentation.
Okay. Starting with Stryker.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So what you should have is two different proposals. Patrick reached out to me end of last week. Stryker's doing a new promotion for their Life Pack 35s that expires on 12/20 of this year. Basically trying to push the sale of the new monitor since they're 1 quarter behind in releasing the product. They're 1 quarter behind in sales before the end of 2024. The initial reach out was they're offering 3 years interest-free financing on the cardiac monitors. With some back and forth with Patrick, I asked him if he could match the 5-year lease program with a 5-year interest-free purchasing program. He came back with a counter offer if they would go to 4 years, which is what they're not offering to the public. So what you see there is you have a 5-year fair value market lease plan, which is very similar to what you had seen back when Patrick presented at EMS quarters. At that time, it had included everything. This is just the cardiac monitors. So I kind of gave you a comparison of what it looks like. The 5-year fair market value lease plan with the 6 years pro care service contract is a total investment of $298,200. That does include really closely estimated at $56,339 interest over the 5-year payment term. If you choose to go the lease option, which you guys are looking at before. With the 0 interest payments for 3 or check for 4 years. If you make the proposals identical with the 6-year service plan contract, the total proposal is $284,123.80. That's for a 5-year add-on totaling 6-year contract for service. I also had them run that contract for 9 years, which would be a full 10-year service contract. And that comes out to the $336,568.20. So just giving you some information, this is a last minute effort for them to try to increase sales at the end of the year. Services, the offer is good till the 20th of this month, 20th of next month. And then we can defer it up to 6 months. We can defer product up to 6 months. We can defer payment up to 6 months if it's something you guys are interested in. We can sign contract before the 20th and then continue to talk about this next couple months. And then if we decide to go a different direction, you are able to cancel with no money due as long as the product is not shipped to us. So I talked to Bill about it the other day, just if this is something that would be interesting to you guys, since we kind of wanted to stray away from piecing out different products, different times of the year, but this is a really pretty good offer. It keeps all cardiac monitors the same and up to a 10-year service contract. So I just got the information for you to present. Our current monitors are set to expire. Their 10-year service plan is ending next year, so they are on a 1-year current service plan only. So that's kind of where we're at with the cardiac monitors. So I'll take any questions or comments you guys have. Yes.
Real quick, so this has not went before the commission board yet. When he received the information, we've kind of come into a council first to approve to move to the commission board for the funding source. If I understood all this right, when we were having conversation leading up to today's meeting. So we're kind of got it council first, and we'll vote to move it to the commission board. So yes, Mr. President.
So just thinking about this, I think this is a great proposal opportunity for us to consider. And, in all the correspondence that we've had discussion on so far, I don't see any reason why my comment here to follow would be of concern, but it just might be good practice to see if we can get language in there that, in this, we're making assumptions that the county still has the ability to function in the EMS department. And that no other partnerships, no restructuring, who's signing on the bottom line here would change over the next 5 or 10 years. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be, but I think it would be a good practice to have some protective language in there that is, so long as we are still wholly operating a county EMS system, within our own county budget. So much changes in the medical world. We've had to step up to the table to be able to support this and, keeping it within the county because, through our discussions as a council as a whole and with our commissioners, we felt that's in the best interest of Steuben County citizens. And I still strongly feel that way as well. But you never know what the future holds with the changing environment in that industry. And, I hope that I like this proposal. I'm comfortable with it. I just also want to know, what are the outcomes should some unforeseen situation cause things to change?
After 4, if we went with the 4-year option, we would own them. right? So that if for some reason which I agree with you, Dan, I will do everything in my power while I'm still sitting in a chair to make sure that we keep our EMS because I think it's what's best for our constituents. But we would have the option of after 4 years, they're ours.
Yeah, you owe them $1 per device that you still have after the 4 years. So you essentially owe them $5 at the end of your 4-year contract. The lease option, you have the option to purchase the product at the end of the lease also at fair market value. It won't tell me what the predicted amount is. I can tell you right now that current monitors we have, the trade-in value is $10,000. If I buy a reconditioned, same exact identical, it's $16,000. So it's still more expensive for me to purchase one now than it is for me to trade one in. So just guesstimating in 5 years, they're still gonna be more expensive than purchasing it with interest-free for 4 years.
Well, thank you for
Vice
doing
President Carter, are we prepared to accept a motion today without was the dollar amount advertised as such?
No, this is just a presentation to get your guys's yay, nay, move on to the commissioners.
I would do the commissioners,
Nothing
right?
advertised yet.
So it's not an actual vote. This is
Don't know what fund yet. No.
Okay.
And I do have one question, Jason. So I'm looking at the 4 annual payment proposal. Okay. We got page 1 that says proposal total 284,123.
Yep.
And we got page 2, it says 336,568.
Correct.
And I go back to page 3, which is the actual estimate. And it's 293,187. It doesn't match any of the front 2 pages.
Which one are you looking at?
He's
I'm on
on
the
the blue
4
one.
annual payments.
The blue one.
Mine's not highlighted. You can't see it, but you're.
Yes, it's this one. So we got 4 annual payments.
Okay.
We got 284,123 for the proposal. Then we go here, we got 336,568, but I go to the estimate page and it's 293,187. So there's nothing matches those numbers.
You don't have a second page.
Why?
336,568.
Okay, so there's a missing page.
It's the back side of it. It's the back side. There you go.
Yeah, I don't have that. Okay. There we go.
Sorry about that.
So really, Dan, if I'm understanding. And he's gone. So if I'm understanding this, we just
yeah, we don't have.
maybe give the nod to move forward to the commission board, and then it'll actually circle back around to the council board at our December meeting. Is that what I'm understanding?
December, January.
Right.
If he has,
That'd be signed before 20th of December.
right, if he has the approval to go ahead, we can come up with funding mechanism anytime. But it's good to know where it's coming from.
Next Monday, 18th.
All right, so you can put this on the 18th commissioner meeting, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then depending upon their request and recommendation, you can
Advertise or do whatever you need to
advertise
do
it, and
for
then it'll
December
circle
10th.
back around for December the 10th council approval, final
Mhm.
approval, and then you can sign it by the 20th.
Can do.
So do we need to do a motion or just give a?
You can give a verbal move ahead, which I don't know if you want to decide on or give your blessing on one.
I say, are we gonna give them a nod on which one or
I think we should.
let them decide
That
which
would be
one
helpful.
fits their best?
It'd be nice knowing which one you're considering. Make our job easier. Which one
As I say, I like the option of owning at the end of 4 years. And thank you for doing all this. I know I beat you up about numbers several times, so thank you.
So
So we would own it at the end, but we would still have a service contract on it.
Yes, we would have another 6 years after that. There could be under a service contract.
well,
Yeah, and if you do it that way, you prepay the service contract at the current rate, so it doesn't increase. And it's also tax exempt also for that period of time. So no interest for that time period as well. So yeah, you're saving quite a bit of money over,
And we've gotten 10 years out of the ones we have right now.
So that's gonna be my question is
2015 purchase.
are these monitors gonna last the 10 years?
Yeah, actually, this is the first monitor on the market that actually has upgradable possibility and technology moving forward. So it's a computer built into the system that we can upgrade to Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So if in 5 years, something new on the market, product-wise comes, they can design the software and upgrade your monitor to include such things instead of purchasing a whole new monitor every 10 to 12, 15-year kind of cycle. They go about 20 years. 15 to 20 years is kind of the mark that they've been for the Life Pack 12, 15, and now 35. So I don't think that 10 years would be concern for the life of the product.
And it's gonna allow our paramedics and our EMT, when they jump in the back of any of our ambulances, it's all the same.
I'm gonna ask a question. All right, there's one more question, just so I fully understand this. So we have a $284,123.80, or we have a $336,568.20. What's the difference between those two dollar amounts?
One's a 6-year service contract, one's up to 10 years.
So to pay it up front, $336,568 locks us into a 10-year service contract as well.
Yes. The device is covered for 10 years.
And we'll loan them after 4.
Yes. So like the previous purchase, I think you guys purchased a 3-year service contract up front, and then each year you recycle and you can do up to essentially a 10-year window. After that, it's a 1-year only window. So
At a higher price.
at a higher price every year. You kind of lock in pricing currently what it is, no increase, and then also the interest rate.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to, inclusive of that motion, on which plan we would like to support moving forward for the commissioner board to approve, or just move it to the commissioners for further. We're not voting on approving the funding now. It'll come back around to us December 10th for final approval once the commissioners make the determination on their recommendation. We just need to move it forward to the commissioners. And which one do we want them to move forward with? That's what I'm looking for.
You ready?
We're ready.
Make a motion to approve or to push forward to the commissioners, the $336,568.20, which will allow us to own the equipment after 4 years and have a 10-year service agreement.
I will second that.
Okay, so we got Rich A. CC, that's for. And all that,
336, 568, 20. Yep.
Okay.
I'm just gonna print this blue.
All right, so we have a first and a second. Any further discussion?
Are you going to attempt to have if for some reason, what Dan suggested, that if we, for some reason, aren't in the business in 7 years, that there's a way for us to get out of the service contract?
I think that would be part of a negotiated item with whomever would take over an ambulance service at that point.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can give you additional on that. If you decide to trade the equipment back in, typically the prorated portion of the unused service contract is also in there. So yeah, you get a portion of that back if you decide to trade them all back into Stryker at 7 years, if that's what you choose. So you probably won't get 100% out of it, but you'll get a good fair portion of it.
All right, any further discussion? If not, we'll call the vote. All in favor, raise your right hand to move forward 336,568.20. 6-0. Good. Okay. So. Jason, are you prepared to talk about the part-time paramedic wage?
Yeah, I think so.
Commissioner and director? And at least start the conversation, and then we can follow up in December on the brief overview of today with additional information between now and then.
And there's no paperwork on that.
No.
I got so many spreadsheets, I didn't know which way you want me to go with this. So when you guys point me in a direction, I will give you lots of spreadsheets.
So I will turn the floor over to the two of you. This is just general discussion right now.
It's up to you. I can tell you where we're at in the process, and then maybe we can go from there. So currently, we just completed 3 additional paramedic part-time interviews. 2 of those individuals are coming from a Parkview system, one's coming from Allen County Fire Department system. All 3 individuals are requesting multiple dollars an hour more than what our current part-time or full-time payment is for paramedics. This proposed a little bit of a question with me and Will back and forth was, I would love to have paramedics here. If I tell them no, because they're asking for more than we can offer, do we figure out a creative way to try to figure out how to match what they're making at their current part-time jobs to pull them over into Steuben County? Hopefully, at least one of them I talked about full-time in the future. She wants to finish out this year with Parkview and see where things go. Always trying to bridge that gap with this paramedic shortage. So we're trying to get creative. We were having those conversations. We were looking at the $27 to $28 an hour part-time paramedic pay because we don't offer them insurance benefits. We don't offer them the perf options. I think we have some room to maybe offer a little bit more for the part-time people in a hopes of maybe,
What are you presently at?
23.
So you want to go from 23 up to that 27-ish?
Yeah, I think the proposal was 28 because I think 2740 was one of the offers. A little over 27, the other one was right at 27. So I just said 28 to make it an even number and then we can go from there. Our current offer is 23. Now we do add wage experience into that for years, which I have a question moving forward with the new study that was proposed, if that includes or does not include the experience increases. So the idea was to put the mark at a number where we could pull some paramedics to Steuben County at the part-time side, get them familiar with the system, hopefully entice them to come full-time. And then that would also, instead of us throwing a dart and guessing what the full-time hourly rate would be to be competitive, it would kind of give us the ability to test the market at the part-time seat and see how many people we could pull first and how many people would be interested in staying full-time at that dollar amount. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 idea originally until we got the wage analysis information on Friday. So I have paperwork supporting paramedic pay, part-time and full-time, all the way up to $32 an hour. So you can see what the numbers are. Just looking for some direction moving forward. Those 3 candidates are expecting an email by the end of next week. So looking for some direction moving.
So you had paperwork saying up to 32 and down to what?
I actually left it at the wage study for 2025 at that dollar amount. It did not include increases for experience. I have a spreadsheet that shows increased experience on top of that. And then I have $27 an hour all the way to $32 an hour. That's why I said I have multiple spreadsheets. I want to give you 30 of them.
You gave me the high, I just don't kind of know what the low was.
What is our full-time? I apologize, I don't remember. How much is our full-time making right now?
23.
Oh, so the part-time and the full-time is the same right now?
Yes.
That's
Christina?
not correct. Looking at the West study, we reviewed this the other day in general compensation and our top senior paramedics are $30 an hour.
That's with experience.
What's their experience?
Right.
Their starting wage is $23.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yes.
Sorry.
They're on the third page. The top revenue.
Thank you.
Andy. So original conversation when asked the other day is provide us the information. Then between now and December meeting, we would have time to review it, ask the questions necessary, and then we could take action in the December council meeting on how to move forward with all this, because it's a lot of information to be presented to us today and to try to take action on it. So That's just transparency of what was talked about the other day. Dan, did I miss anything?
No, not at all. I think this is good information to have up front and, yeah, see how it shakes out.
This has been discussed a lot. Jason and I, mostly Jason spent a lot of time on it, but I have talked to a number of council members just to kind of ideas. I've talked to my commissioner associates just to try and bounce some ideas off in meetings that we've had here. So my plan for your December meeting, first of all, is to have a great deal of information to you within about the next 7 to 10 days, both from Jason and myself, with a summary of what we've seen. If you recall, it was probably, 15 months ago or so that we went through and reset the wage study and the structure over there, I believe it was. So the information that you'll receive will show what the P&L looks like right up through, we'll have numbers through the end of October. So you can look at those numbers, look at the history of it, see what they've done. But basically, this is just going to be a very high overview and potential reorganization of those items after a 15-month period. We need to figure out what it's going to take to get people here to work and whether or not the county can continue to afford to do that. And I think we have to afford to do it.
So my hesitation, my question is, I know what we just did at budget time. Where, I mean, we fought hard this year at budget time. This is does the commissioners have I mean, the only place that we had any room was in lit. Does EMS come out of lit at all now? Do you know?
EMS lit,
I mean, other than that, that we maxed out.
that's gone.
That's gone.
Yeah.
There wasn't, we had to reorganize it to get it back under so that it wouldn't go negative.
And the rest of it is in general.
We maxed out what
What we take in under
yeah,
EMS lit.
there's room to raise that.
There's two lits also. There's the 1236 and then there's 1170. I don't know which one you're probably referring to, the 1236.
Yeah, EMS.
They are referring to the 1236 EMS lit.
We were conservative on that raise.
So there's been discussion evolve around how of different paths to get to this, inclusive of 2023, we had approved 4 additional people for the 3rd ambulance. That came up in discussion the other day. Do we defund them, free up those funds to allow for the proposed changes that they're bringing forth for consideration?
That puts us into a really hard box with partnership if we do. Yeah.
I don't know anything about a partnership, so I'm just talking about general knowledge that I have. And you're Christina.
I will be anxious to see the profit and
So,
loss
yes.
because when we did that huge wage increase, it was said, you will not see the effect of these for 12 to 18 months. And I said, I will be very anxious to see the effect of these.
So just to kind of recap, this is just general information sharing that we wanted to talk about today. And like Commissioner Howard had mentioned, we're going to see a bunch of information coming at us to allow people to ask questions and review it. And then we'll take formal action on it in the December meeting.
Looking forward to it.
Does Jason need an answer for his potential hires before that time? You're waiting for an answer by the end of next week?
I mean, I could We can offer what the current rate is and see if they decline or accept.
And are we gonna do the?
So Jason, is it not fair to ask your three applicants, understanding how covered county government works, that we weren't able to fully make a decision today and it'll be decided upon December 10th?
Yeah, I mean, I have no
Maybe
problem.
ask them for that additional 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever that time frame is.
I have no problem with that ask. That all three of them work a part-time job at that amount. So it's,
I think that's a fair ask of them to give everybody time to get this due process.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I don't, how the rest of you feel, I'll let you speak.
Something to keep in mind as we send this information to you. When we did this 15 months ago, roughly, we were able to put a lot of people on part-time and full-time.
Right.
At one point, we were fully staffed. Well, that industry is continuously changing when it comes to these types of requests. And it's just become a very competitive place to be.
So we did everything with the budget, right? So none of that took into account any of the money that we actually make off of EMS, correct? Everything that we planned was out of what we went through that. I mean, when we went through for the budget for next year, that is all on tax dollars that we did that budget on, right? All on what we have without, we didn't account at all for any of the income that comes from
It's
EMS.
in the general budget.
It's in general budget.
But the general number that we used, that we shot at, was the numbers that we knew for sure. So it
Yes.
didn't include what we make off of the EMS side,
Potentially.
So
potentially.
it's already in the,
It's already built into your
It's in
revenue
the-
stream
yeah.
in general.
But I thought the numbers that we used for general was, so you're saying that money that we make off of that was part of those numbers that were posted? That we said?
it's all in the big scheme of things. You got your one flat dollar amount that we have in the general fund, and you guys weren't wanting to go over a certain amount because you didn't want to tap into.
We didn't want to touch any of what was there already.
Correct.
But the only amount, it's not income, you don't like me to use the word income, what is it? The money that is coming to us into the general
Revenue.
revenue received, that's all we base the budget on. And that revenue received
Projected.
was on property tax and other, it did not include what we make in EMS, or it did. That's what I don't understand. What?
Christina, if I may, I think in your Peter's Municipal Consultants budget projections and analysis, you'll see a line item in there where the things that are cash burn or cash increase, there's assumptions page on the back.
Oh.
They're anticipating similar revenues.
So
So that,
that is already in there, it's already accounted for. Okay,
yeah, county park money coming in, EMS money that coming in, those things, they're making the assumption that those inputs, those revenues are gonna stay relatively the same.
thank you, that clears up a lot. That was, at the beginning, I think I asked that question at the beginning of budgets like 17 times, how do we? Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing your proposals. And one discussion, I will bring this up, Commissioner, if we have just a few more minutes to talk about this. So the question was, did we or did we not remove them from our salary matrix? My memory tells me we did not remove them from our salary matrix back in 15 months ago when we went through and implemented years of service and what was the other item we implemented at that time? Maybe that was it. Experience level. To me, I felt that we left them in the salary matrix, and so I guess I'm just looking at my colleagues for a little clarification on this, what everybody recalls. Oh, Aaron?
Yeah.
So essentially, when you guys put in the longevity pay, that itself would have pulled them out of the matrix because you still have dispatchers, which were the same category. So that did, however, your guys' new salary study that you took a look at during budgets, that put them back in.
Right.
Thank you, Aaron.
I don't remember.
So they were out, now they're back in. Okay.
I don't ever remember having to
Yeah,
get.
we adopted the EMS's budget this year. That was within that new matrix from WIS, and this request would take them back out, basically.
I'm sorry, Dan, could you repeat that,
I'm
please?
sorry.
Like I said, when we adopted our budgets this year from WIS, that was within WIS. So that was, leaving them in. But I think if we were to make a move for this request, Aaron would have to take them back out of the grid, right?
Yes, you're correct. That would remove them then from the matrix.
My understanding was that they were blanketed in when we approved the WIS study.
Yes.
That's how I interpreted it.
Jason?
So for spreadsheets moving forward, are we out of the matrix or part of the matrix? And do we add experience or take away the experience raises? That's going to drastically affect the spreadsheets I create for you.
So moving forward, any changes we make will pull them out of the grid and pull them out of the matrix.
Unless, Aaron, help me with this, but could we do something similar to, I'm trying to think of a good way to word this, but like in the sheriff's department, when you have special merit pay or special skill set pay, could you leave their base wage in and then create some areas to get there, with their experience and so forth?
So right now, and I'm going to use your term that you use a lot of times, the baked in. So you have several that have that experience and longevity baked into their current wages.
I'm a
So,
restaurateur, so I use that term.
so if you wanted to take into effect the longevity that they currently have, in my mind, you would have to take them all back down to what Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy considered as that market midpoint, and then add the longevity on top of it. With regards to doing something like the sheriff's office does, we'll just have to talk about that. Are we going to get into stipends or specialty pay? Again, that would pull them out of the grid essentially, because they were treated the same like everybody else with regards to if you were over and above that market midpoint, then you were just staying there and getting that $500 appreciation.
Yeah. And again, we don't have to decide this today, but these are the things we need to be rumbling around our heads before it comes to us. So, and don't want to waste Jason's time on creating spreadsheets that are going the wrong direction. So I understand the situation is unique. I don't know that this problem is going to go away because where we're located in our market compared to the regional competitive forces that we have. I know we didn't adopt the EMS lid at the top for sure, but we might be chasing an endless target there. And I think we've got to look at what our real sustainability is with this program from a wage competitive standpoint. So I don't know that I've got comfortable with what I think the best solution is yet. I do know that I believe in consistency in what we did with Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy, because there's going to be councils well beyond our time. There's still going to be backtracking, trying to figure out how things got so deviated from, one department to another and trying to move forward. I had the same thoughts on the highway being different, just because I started on council, we were trying to figure out all the exceptions that were going on, and it was very difficult to get everything back on a playing field that we could move forward from. So I totally agree with Will and with Jason and what the pressures are here. And, I want us to be able to come up with something to make us competitive to fill those positions. But I want to be very sensitive to your job, Aaron, and our job, council, as to what we can keep straight and manage going forward, especially when in Jason's industry, this target is moving at such a rapid pace that we're chasing.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
All right, anybody have anything else? If not, thank you, Jason, and Will, we look forward to the information.
I would
Yeah, I'll
love
let
to
you
see
two-
figures.
And if I may, did we decide on this?
No, we're gonna wait on,
I was asking about the $28. Wait on,
we're gonna wait on
for
them
them
to
to
come
talk.
back to us. That's part of the, I look at that as part of the complete proposal that they're bringing to us, and
okay.
There's two forces we're working with here. You know, you talk about defunding the positions that aren't filled, Bill, and, you know, there's whether there's a pool of funds, that go, like there's actually the money there, which I think was kind of Christina's point after the budget. But then there's also, you know, it's position by position, what's in the matrix and what we've agreed to fund. So it's not that there couldn't be the money there, but it's about how we manage the positions going forward with our HR department.
all right. Moving along, is there any WIC? WIC, is WIC here? 9:40. I have not seen them slide in.
Would you accept a motion on the WIC?
We haven't, we was waiting to see if Debbie was gonna show up.
I'm actually surprised.
Well, this is a reimbursement from a grant.
Yep, so I think I'm comfortable
Like done.
moving forward with it.
I move we accept their money.
I will second that.
Track and CC, very
Yeah.
good.
No,
It was
It was
Dan.
Dan.
It was
I'm
Dan.
sorry, yes, Dan.
You know, a second?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. So, official, huh?
Thank you.
All right, Commission Howard.
Morning.
Good morning again.
Sit or would you like to stand?
Just speak loud if you're gonna sit.
All right.
You good? Okay.
First two items have to do with the Sheriff's Department, correct? Kelly? Vehicles
Yes.
and uniforms.
Yep.
These are ARPA requests. One is to outfit a sheriff's vehicle. Second item is for protective vests. Jailers, I believe, correct?
Yes.
That went through ARPA and was approved by both ARPA and the commissioners and brought forward to council.
What vehicle are we outfitting?
This was one of the canine units, wasn't it?
No,
this
is the Bearcat.
Oh, the Bearcat. You know, that's right. So the lights on the
it and medic lights on the inside of it.
Bearcat?
The Bearcat.
Bearcat. Yeah. All right, so, yeah, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got Rick Shipe on a first. And Crusoe on a second.
Is that on both of them?
That's on for the
Yes.
vehicles and uniform and vest. Those are both ARPA requests. All right, we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? If not, everybody in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. Okay, item number 2 is a new line item for evacuation chairs for $18,950 out of Fund 1238.
This is the opioid unrestricted.
All right, I can touch base on that part with you if you want to talk about it. A most recent fire alarm at the Judicial Center, after it first opened, brought into question. We had an elderly individual stuck on the third floor couldn't get down. And of course, through the years of fire service training, you're trained not to go to the elevators and use them. And so, working with the commissioners and Aaron, we did a walk through the building, and the suggestion was that with the evacuation chairs, I believe everybody has them in their packet. These could be employee trained to, as employees are exiting the building, and if there are people needing assistance to help evacuate, our employees can be trained on these in a matter of about 20 minutes. And on their way out, they can help the ones that need help. And it's always been kind of a standing rule when we do our fire prevention talks and conversation pieces. You're going to be self-sufficient for 10 minutes. Be thinking 10 minutes before you start seeing trucks and ambulances and police cars showing up. Okay, so that first 10 minutes can go a long way if the employees are engaged and helping with this. So that's how we come up with this. And there's a proposal for 2 of them at the Judicial Center, one on the 3rd floor, one on the 2nd floor. And then Aaron helped me out. We talked about 2 of them for this building, 3rd floor.
2nd floor.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So that's kind of how we got here.
Do I remember hearing you correctly that you said when using these, that the largest
Okay, so the smallest person in this room could move me.
could move the largest person easily
Yes,
on one of these chairs?
yes.
I will be anxious to
They
see that.
use, if you look in the picture, there's tracks on the back side of it that fold out. You use those tracks and it takes you down the stairwell without going. So,
I have a question about only 2 in this building. You can't get into any of the 3 floors, can you, without going the stairs? Because you come in and it's a split level? Is there one downstairs where you can get out the back and I just don't know?
There's stairs
Yeah.
on the bottom of the
Yeah.
Out the back.
So there's stairs any floor.
No, you can get out to the bottom level out.
right,
Oh,
they
okay.
could go out through the old cafeteria or through the maintenance.
I'm sorry, I don't know this building as well as the rest of you do. I was not an MSD grad.
So, yeah.
Sorry about
So that's the story of the evacuation chairs. And we talked in our ARPA meeting actually about taking it out of the unrestricted opioid funding.
No, I love that we're doing healthy things with that money.
Yes.
Are you ready for a motion?
We're ready for a motion.
I would like to do a motion to approve the evacuation chairs.
Okay, we have a first from Christina,
I'll second.
second from Lisa. All right, we have a first and a second. Any further discussion?
That's from the unrestricted opioid money.
Yes.
Yes.
You're welcome. All right. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. Very good.
Say we skip and we go to the insurance one.
Let's go to, what?
He said, I would skip and go to the insurance one, his last one.
Let's just take them in order. The Vine Land, the new Vine Land purchase. Commissioner, I'll give this one to you.
This will be a lot of recalling from the original meeting. We were presented with an opportunity to partner with the Vine Learning Center, which is a childcare facility. They are in need of a new facility as they will be losing the one that they are currently in. So they had made a request to the ARPA committee to help them in potentially building a new facility which would allow for, going with memory here, I believe about 125 kids.
That's their hope.
And they were just looking for some help in getting that moving in that direction for building. They had presented to us a couple of different situations, one of which would involve some lots out by the Terrace Ridge area. Is that correct? Okay. Or there's the potential for another site over off of 827. The ARPA committee, in bringing this to the commissioners and in bringing it to council, We have to do something to bring childcare to our community. We can't afford to just keep losing these facilities. We lose childcare facilities, we lose employees, we lose businesses. So we committed to them up to $275,000 to assist with the purchase of property or the development of the construction of a facility in which we as a county would be a partial owner in the capital asset. So in other words, we would own the lots if they were to buy those. Or potentially we would be involved with major moves funding for the entire project, in which we would essentially construct a building and lease it or sell it to them. Which would go well beyond the $275,000, but this is a commitment from the county to look at assisting them with building a facility. It still has to come back through the commissioners and through council for a final approval, if you will, of the actual project. Whether it's going to be the purchase of those lots or whether it's going to be the other one on 827 and what that would look like. The motion in the ARPA funding meeting was that we would commit to providing $275,000 with, Dan, what were your words on that? It has something to do with a negotiated contract for the county.
Yeah, I think we had discussed that the covenants and the terms of the deal were still to be formed, so we want to put the appropriate protection of the asset investment in for the county with the language that we use. And there's still a lot of discussion that needs to be had, I think, about, the structure of the deal and whether that's a land lease or, what our further involvement is. This is another one of those projects that's potentially an excellent collaboration project, both with private enterprise and certainly to our Economic Development Corporation. We are trying to get on their meeting schedule to discuss some funding opportunities for the building itself as well. So there's a lot of things to be looked at here, but I think when we moved it out of ARPA was with the idea that we had a lot of discussion to be had yet on the language that we would put in there to protect the county's interests in the investment. And that it wouldn't be a final approval from council until they got to get a look at all that language and it went through our legal process as well.
So that's where we're at with it.
That's where we're at.
There's a significant economic benefit to the county from having a very high performing facility like this become available. And like with the sheet stamp park and some other projects, sometimes, the county's understanding of that and commitment to understanding the benefit to that and being willing to put some money up to be the catalyst to get it started allows that organization then to collaborate with others and pull in and actually go to work on their end on the resources available to them because they've got a committed partner already. And it takes that first committed partner. I know with a lot of help from the Community Foundation and other organizations, we've been trying to get, the child care issue tackled. I know our EDC directors spent a lot of time on that. It's not work that EDC directors used to do 20 years ago as well. And I think the group of individuals involved in this project right now and the potential for this project are as good opportunities we've got in front of us in a long time.
So we do have a representative, ma'am. I have.
Laurie McKinnon, we have multiple representatives here advocating for the Vine Early Learning.
Yes, so if anybody have any questions, they have attended today, so
Do you have commitments from any other partners yet?
Yes, we both have Cameron Memorial Community Hospital. Fairview Missionary Church has always been one of our partners in helping us on an annual basis. And most recently, SOS Incorporation has shared with us that they will do an annual commitment.
How much from all three of those?
I am not sure about Fairview, and I think they would like to keep that anonymous. I have just heard from Angie Logan, our CEO, that she wants to make sure that this is sustainable. I'm not sure what that dollar amount will be, but she really wants this project to be a success, just like most people in this room. And from SOS, they have committed to $3,000 annually.
We also have a partnership with JICI. They are going to, of course, be the construction piece of this, but they also are looking to be sponsors also. They believe in this project very heavily as well.
I mean, I think we learned with the Sheets Family Park, that was one of the very first things I ever did. And we got in. But then we had to finish it too. Do you have a solid business plan on how to scale from the 45 that you have now up to 125? Do you have it all, like your projections, what you think it's gonna be?
We had gotten the. I don't have mine with me today, I'm sorry.
Yes,
That's
we were
okay.
presented with that in Ruth's.
I have not seen it.
We're happy to send another electronic version if you would like.
Yes, if you could forward it to Kelly and she will disseminate it amongst the council.
Absolutely.
And Christina,
Got it,
there was
let's
a
change.
projected payback, to any loan that there might have to be yet on a building itself. A yearly payback amount.
Yeah, Christina, that's an excellent point. We looked at their initial pro forma they gave us. I talked to the organization afterwards about maybe talking through that pro forma with them about the scalability timeline on that, because it had the capacity to repay debt and be successful operationally based on the pro forma they had when fully optimized. I think they had put it at 90%, capacity. My numbers I'm really interested in seeing are, how long does it take to get to capacity, get the word out, get to that number of students, if you will, because you might have a cash burn time in between there, just understanding that, optimized at 90%. I think there's the potential for that number of students out there, but it's going to take some time to get there and make sure that the project can sustain that time to optimization.
I will also add that Cameron is interested in the partnership of having potential pediatric therapies and mental wellness as a facility connected to the childcare. And so they will potentially be giving us rent that will go in towards the revenue for the Vine Early Learning Incorporation. That will help us monetarily.
I mean, you cracked the code. We've been talking about daycare ever since I got included, and everyone says there is no model that makes money.
We understand that the tuition itself does not pay, just like a university, right? Any not-for-profit is not going to be sustainable just with the tuition itself. And so our group here behind me has gotten very creative in figuring out partnerships. And part of that is donations from our community collaborators that live around this area. And to also partner with, I'm not sure if you know about Lake It Easy, but they're a catering company. They're my neighbors. We've had a thorough discussion about partnering with them in regards to healthy meals, monthly, perhaps weekly, so that some of that revenue will go towards the Vine Early Learning Center as well. Just small pockets of different types of revenue to not only have the tuition to come in, but other additional income outside of that as well.
Rick Amber, I'm also with the Vine here. I just want to speak to the facility limitations here and the numbers that we currently have in childcare. Just to make it very easily, there's an equation in the state, square footage, proximity to bathrooms, and number of teachers that allows you to have the number of students that you have. So, I mean, our numbers are lower than the 120 we're projected. We're also pretty much at max capacity in the facility that we're in. Traditionally, due to the economics of Steuben County, all childcares have been in churches, and there isn't a church that has a physical footprint that allows us to be any bigger. And that's where we are asking you guys for some financing for a childcare specifically built building rather than the basement of a church or an old factory or something that we try to modify to make it fit. We would like to build something that specifically meets the needs of childcare, and every square foot of that building is accounted for to allow for max capacity. So.
And not just for one church, but multiple churches, because this is a faith-based organization or childcare incorporation. It could be something that multiple churches can see as a ministry, as well as businesses, once again, partnering because they know that we need employees in this area and professionals in this area. The hospital is going to be in the same situation, right? Parkview and Cameron included. We have doctors and physicians who will be retiring here in the next 18 to 24 months, and we need people to replace those positions. Those people are probably going to have young children, and they are in the need for childcare. And if we want them to come here, then we need to have childcare in Steuben County.
The 275 doesn't get us a building. It gets us a piece of property and site ready. So without that commitment of that building, I mean, where that fund is going to come from, and I apologize. This is not you guys. I've said here, we're going to have community partners. We're going to have community partners. When we come to the table, nobody else seems to come to the table. And so if you had this whole list and you could show all this partnership and all this money coming somewhere else, and we were helping to finish that, I think that would make it much easier for a sell to my constituents instead of being the first through the door without those other commitments, because my fear is they won't come because we did.
We've just started this project of asking for financial support in the past 3 to 4 weeks, and we're just now getting those responses. We have people who are speaking on our behalf as well, and waiting for those responses. But there are a number of other companies that we're having conversations with. SOS Incorporation is the first one to give us that commitment for an annual donation. We are talking with other organizations as well and hoping for responses by December.
Oh, by December.
I will agree with Leanne, what she said. You know, we were having this conversation 12, 18 months ago, and we were getting the response that you guys were, oh, you're beating a dead horse. There's nothing we can do. It's unfortunate. And then something clicked within the last 6 to 9 months. We started to bug people again, and they started changing their response. And it was like, you know what? You've got to be the people to make this difference. No one else is going to fix this for us. And the response started changing. And so I will agree with what Dan mentioned earlier is I think the thing that a lot of these corporations we're having conversations with is that we're missing that first piece. That first piece of commitment where, okay, we've got a piece of land now, let's make the rest happen. And so we are having amazing conversations with probably every key player you can imagine in this community. And they're all just waiting for that first piece. So if that helps.
And everyone is concerned with being the first one in because there's all these unknowns everywhere. But I guess I look at this as at $275,000. That's the purchase price of these 2 lots, I think it was. If they cannot come to fruition on getting a new building built, we still have collateral that we could sell.
And again, Cameron wants to be a big component to this project. So they haven't initiated a dollar amount, but they know that the success is necessary for childcare.
Do you think you'd have some of those numbers in 30 days? We just held over 30 days to make our decision.
We have to make a decision as an organization whether or not we can remain open by December. And so I would hope, yes, I have high hopes that we can have a few more numbers. I'm not saying that we will have the fully committed amount for the facility itself, but more numbers than we do today, yes.
Dan?
It's like he was in your head.
What grant funding was the EDC looking into to help this project?
So, this project qualifies, to be eligible for Ready 2.0 money, which our EDC is compiling, all of the projects within the community and then within the region, to send down to Indianapolis to their voting body. And daycare is a eligible thing you can submit. So that's the meeting that we're waiting to have with Isaac. I have a meeting with him yet this afternoon, which I intend to try to at least get that date nailed down where the Vine folks can sit with him and talk about what he thinks about the funds being part of Ready. So I think that'd be a big catalyst too. But again, I think our decision today, our motion today, if we were to make one, can have whatever caveat or asterisk or covenant you want to put on it that, so right now we're thinking, because they've got another land option on 827 that was mentioned as well, that there's some due diligence being done going down that path. But if we were committing the 275 today to that land purchase, a motion could be made to say, with the proper, first of all, that the project has to receive capital funding to move forward from other sources. It could say, I don't want to put words in people's mouth, but it could say that we'll continue to own the land with maybe a land lease in the meantime, and a long-term repayment on the money back. There's all kinds of different languages that could be proposed within that to make sure that, to everybody else's point, if they don't have the partners moving forward and it doesn't get going, like Drew said, we've got collateral that we can resell or repurpose another way for the county's benefit. But it all comes down to how we word the motion. I mean, if we just say, yeah, we approve funding, go get the land lot with nothing else in it, I don't think that's a prudent deal for Steuben County taxpayers. But I think if we make the motion correctly, that our constituents can get behind what we're trying to help here.
So with all that said, thank you for coming today.
Absolutely.
I will open the floor and entertain a motion.
I move that the county approve $275,000 for the land purchase for the Vine Learning Center, contingent upon further due diligence in their performance showing their sustainability. I'm going to say this slowly so that we can get it written down. In their ability to independently raise funds, whether it be through government mechanisms like Ready 2.0 and or private investment, to get their building built. And that our county maintain full collateral position in the interim and moving forward.
Yeah, but it's on tape too.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
No further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 5, all opposed, the same? 5-1. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would you like to send that document to, Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly and she'll get it to the appropriate locations.
Okay, thank you.
All right, last for Commissioner Howard is the interfund transfer request for insurance, which is our monthly.
That's more for Kelly.
Kelly, I'm sorry. Because you had to sign it.
Just happens to fall under.
General to healthcare admin to pay for October healthcare claims. And the total of $325,446.41. So we'll entertain a motion.
Bill, guys, there's two funds there.
Yes. Yes, Dan, you are correct. There are two funds, so we are tapping into that additional $1 million line. Historically, at the end of the year, we have a higher claims experience, but I do have some good news in that we did receive spec reimbursements in the amount of $276,456.70 last week. So that will be a good thing for the claims experience coming forward for this month.
Excellent, thank you.
I'll make that motion there.
Second to that.
I will second.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. Very good. I'm asking for a 10-minute recess, and we'll come back and finish up with Kelly and get our other business taken care of.
Or do you want me to pause it? I apologize.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi, how are you doing? I like your sweater. Thank you. Marketing today.
That's on this side, that's on this side.
It's this down here, right?
Back around to Kelly Johnson, County Auditor, starting with the interfund transfer request. Mid-page, starting with, well, we got $1,548, $212,138.67. And we have $1,548 and two. So Kelly, I'll turn it over to you to discuss these.
Okay, so.
Page 53 on our agenda or in our packet.
How are you gonna see it? And I am missing my person, Ian is out today, but this is for the drainage funds. We need to transfer from one, paid out of one, transfer back into another. And the detail on it is on the back video. We do these, I think she does them. I don't think she does them monthly. I think they're done at settlement time.
What do you hate is funny about?
It's not funny though.
And if you look at the second page, the $157,981.71, that fund's 2701. The reason that is on there is we found out from the State Board of Accounts, we should have always been using fund number 2700. So we are in the process of doing final transfers from 2701 into 2700, and we'll have that done by the end of the year. But I was just worried you guys would question why that extra fund was on there.
So this just boils down to bookkeeping.
It is, yeah, I guess I could have said that in the beginning, bookkeeping, please prove, but.
So that accounts for Fund 2700, 1,548.78, correct?
Yes. And 1158.
Fund 1158 for a total of 212,138.67.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll take those two together in the form of a motion.
I would move to approve.
Ruth Beer. Rick Scheit. Have a first and a second. Any further discussion? You're muted, Dan.
Thank you. What was the difference between 2,700 and 2,701?
Number? One number? One number?
One number.
One number. The state said that we should have always been using Fund 2700. And for whatever reason, the initial thing was set up for 2701, maybe for my time, so I don't know why.
I mean, there's
It's just,
nothing else that goes through those fund numbers, right?
no, there's not. Once we're done with transferring the money over from 2701 to 2700, that one will be done away with.
What was wrong with I guess I don't get what was wrong with the one we were putting it in all these years.
I don't know the answer to that. State Board just told us that it was incorrect. I can get some additional information from State Board as to why.
As long as those are the only things that happen or drainage within that, I don't need it, that's fine. I just wondered if there was something else behind that.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0.
Who is 1 and 2?
Ruth Beer, Rick Scheit.
So they didn't answer.
All right, then we have Fund 1158 for the, what's that, Kelly?
Which one?
Those are the same numbers.
That's all the same stuff. I thought that I was approved.
Yeah, from fund to fund.
Oh,
So
it's all done.
it's done.
Okay, good. So that's all done.
The grant fund appropriations next.
Yes, 2024 grant fund appropriate.
Yeah,
That's wrong.
those are all of those grants. We are working to get all the departments to appropriate their funds. But these are the ones coming into the end of the year that are negative because the funds have not been appropriated, even though we've received the money. So Anna's getting them appropriated. List is getting smaller though. We're getting better and better at getting them to appropriate it once they receive it. That's all that is.
That'll make your life so much easier once that's the normal pattern.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're trying to get that done.
All right, I will entertain a motion for all of these in one motion. I feel comfortable with that. So do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
CC, second.
I'll second.
Lisa Aldrich. All right. First, second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right, other business. So we have resolution 11-2024-01. That's the approval of interfund transfer resolution. And Kelly, do you have any additional information on this or?
This is just all the additional
Training
appropriations that
authority.
you guys approved today.
Oh, from dormant funds into the county general fund is what this one is.
Oh, all right.
Yes,
Wrong one. I'm sorry.
yep.
That's the one you're doing?
11-20.
This one makes me very happy to see.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
I was looking
you.
at that one.
Skip one.
I'm just going by the list.
We're talking about.
Just not the way it is.
We're
on the
talking
computer.
about 01.
Oh, one,
Yeah. Okay.
just cleaning up those.
So when we switched from our Harris system to Lao, of course, we had to go through and we had to touch every single fund that was ever created in the system. And this is what we found to be hanging out there. We did our due diligence, and if it could go back into the fund, it did. This is what's remaining that we have permission to put into the general fund, $25,871.79.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
Rick Scheit, Christina Kress. First and second, any further discussion on resolution 11-2024-01? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. Figured that would have passed.
Yeah, I do need signatures on that, please.
Very nice.
There we go. All
We're
right,
working to find y'all money.
that's good work. All right, so 11-2024-02. That just allows us to process the interfund transfers from the specific funds into overspent grant funds. Any further explanation on that one, Kelly?
We do it every year.
We do it every
It gives
year?
the auditor the authority to
Okay,
take care of that,
okay. Very good.
just through the end of the year, do cleanup.
Okay. Do you have a motion on the floor for that?
I'll make the motion.
Rick Scheit? I'll second it. Okay, first and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0.
Samantha needs signatures on that.
11-2024-03. What is that, one, Kelly?
That's your additional appropriations from today.
Okay. Very good. Motion for 11-2024-03.
Move to approve.
Ruth Beer. Second.
A second.
Okay, Lisa Aldridge. All right, first, second, bearing, or any further discussion, bearing none. All in favor, raise your right hand.
I did not.
Okay.
You did not vote?
I would
All of them.
pose. I would-
You're opposed, 5-1? Sorry.
That's okay.
You can, just so you know, you can approve this, even though you were opposed to
So
one
I
of
still
the other
sign it
ones.
even though I opposed?
You can deny it, but you can also approve it if you want. You're approving the resolution. I have your motion in here where you did not approve the particular one. Or I can leave you as. No.
I would rather say no.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I don't sign. Correct? Then I don't.
Sign
sign.
under nay.
I sign under what?
Nay.
There is no.
There is no nay on this one, Dan, it's a resolution.
I can add it for you, Christina.
I'll come back to the sign. I'm good about showing up when you
Okay.
tell me to.
All right, approval of May, June, and October 2024 regular council meeting minutes. Does that bring us up to date, Kelly?
Missing one. We still need April. April, that's it, but that's
April.
it.
Okay, so we're still missing April.
Almost done.
And Ruth has pointed out 2 changes
One of my favorites.
June was good, if you guys approve that. May,
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, we got.
Was anybody missing at any of those meetings? Is there anybody that shouldn't sign? Did anybody miss? What's the first one?
May was first.
May will be the first one.
May.
All right, so we're gonna take these one at a time just because we have some changes that were brought to our attention this morning. So we're gonna,
Everybody was there at May's meeting.
so we're actually gonna start with May. And one error that was made on the front page, about 3/4 of the way down. Councilwoman Ruth Beer made a motion to approve the additional appropriation request of $800,000. Councilman Rick Scheib seconded the motion. The motion carried with, it says 7 yeas and 1 nay. That should be changed to 6 yeas and 1 nay.
You guys can approve that
On
and
May.
sign it. That was the only thing she found. And I can reprint that page if you guys sign
I
it.
found one other word, but
Okay,
it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs down where it starts Barbara Short. Yes.
which one, which page?
On the front page, first page.
Barbara Short?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Motion made to fund DAS compliance. Find DAS in compliance.
find. Got it.
Catch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask me why.
So with the two proposed changes that will be made, do we have a motion to accept May minutes?
I will second.
Ruth and Christina. First and second. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. That one's coming down for signature. All right, June, we found no errors unless somebody comes across any. We have a motion to accept June's minutes as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Rick Scheib. Second,
Second.
Lisa Aldrich. First and a second. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. What's left? October, we found one change, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Prayer.
Yes, up, third paragraph down, it was originally stated Councilwoman Ruth Beer opened a regular meeting with a word of prayer, and that's when Lisa opened a meeting with word of prayer, so that change has been documented on the meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to accept October's minutes as presented with the change that has been brought forth?
I'll make that motion.
Christina, second.
I'll second.
Lisa Aldrich. All right, first, second, bearing no further discussion, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right. Received the October monthly financial and comparison report. Has everybody had a chance to review that? Get my computer to work.
Do you have those printed
I
somewhere
can't do
with
it.
me afterwards?
Or I tried to print them myself, that extra part of that
I
page.
wasn't here.
Correct.
Love to see how you guys scan.
I can still prove
Yeah.
Well, your scanner always adds that extra fat end.
Usually.
it. I give a,
And that one's right
I get-
here.
back up a second on the October 28th meeting.
Okay,
I was
October.
not present.
Last minute.
Oh, you go.
So he's recusing.
So he's
myself.
not, so it would be 5-0. He can't vote.
5-0, he recused. Did you get that?
Yes, it is.
All right,
Vice President,
yes.
I have not had a chance to review those, so we can either take them without my vote or we'll postpone until the December meeting on the financials, whichever you prefer.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We push these back to the December meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any more further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. So. All right, the 2025 salary ordinance. Real quick, I'm going to speak on behalf of the 2025 salary ordinance, is that it is not complete and ready for distribution and approval on behalf of council pending EMS information that we'll be receiving for December. And our timeline for the approval of the salary ordinance, as long as it is signed by December 31st, we were within our statutory requirements. Correct?
Correct. Budget's been approved, just not
The
the final
budget's been
salary
approved,
ordinance.
we just, the outline changes, and if anybody has read through, there's some highlighted red areas, and that's kind of the cleanup that we need to look at still with EMS, and I'm not sure what else without.
Okay, so I can get to that. You guys want to have, it's up to you. You guys want to have any additional discussions now?
Discussion after first and second.
Yeah, that's fine. Anything in red, so for the clerk of the court, I gave you a piece of paper this morning. Yep, I did not have that Indiana code. In the past, that has not been listed on the salary ordinance separately, and I think it should be. Same as the assessor's office has her Indiana code with the additional pay that she receives for being certified. This is for the clerk of courts. So even though it's always been in the budget, it's never been listed out separately, and I think it should be. So I have the Indiana code now. I got that from TNG this morning, so I was gonna drop that in. And if you note on that, it does say 2,500 because that changed for 2025. However, she only put in for the 1,200, which is what it was previously. So I will make a mention of that as well, that it's only the 1,200 this year. And then the highway department, I have not dropped in their wages because those were changed previously. So I want to get with Aaron and make sure that I don't make any mistakes or anything dropping in something different on that. The other thing I had highlighted was the paramedic part-time wage, which you have chosen to push forward, or excuse me, to wait until December, table it. And then the sheriff's office, the only thing I noticed I did not do was break out the 5,500 and the $10,000 for the chief deputy. I was gonna break that out individually, just so it's more detailed of where each one of those came from. And that's it. Unless you guys can go over it, tell me if there's anything I missed. There's one sentence on the front page that needs to be cleaned up there, but I did put in, I changed the beginning paragraph to include the Steuben County Council has adopted salaries based on the current Wagner-Irwin-Shealy wage study. And those salaries shall be implemented effective January 1 of 25. Any exceptions to the study are outlined throughout the ordinance 1024 and are listed below. So you guys can go through there, make sure I didn't miss anything, because anything we changed. And if you try to compare it to last year's, I moved things around because there might have been something about part-time wages here, and there might have been something about part-time wages on page 3. I put everything together.
So I'd like to move forward with the motion that we table the 2025 salary ordinance until December pending further information that we're going to be receiving. And it gives us time to review what we have in front of us now.
Oh, second.
You need a motion. Oh, you made the motion.
Myself and Lisa.
He's asking for a motion.
We have a first, we have a second. Any no further discussion?
Wait a second, I have a question here.
Okay.
I'm just reading the EMS department, the bottom of the second page. Holiday
incentive.
Which one are you reading, Ruth?
The bottom of the second page. I'm just wanting to know if this is something we need to think more about. EMS department, it says.
Yep.
Holiday incentive program. On the page, the stipend of 168 between period. Is that still?
So you guys change it. It was on board.
You still have it filled, I think, right? He didn't have supervisor, he has some supervisor places that haven't been filled, so he hasn't been using it. I think that's when we have a discussion about it.
Currently does have one supervisor assigned, and working on the others yet.
Just didn't remember talking about that. I'm sure we did. I have nothing else.
Good question. Any further discussion?
When I look at clerk voter registration per diem, that's state there, it is entitled to come.
Where are you at?
A county fiscal body may provide a stipend not to exceed 25,000. Or, excuse me, 2,500. It's may, not shall. It's on this thing.
Oh. I was like, I don't see what you're talking about.
I needed that code. Really drop in there like I did the assessors. Tangi sent that to me this morning and I'll get that dropped in there.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of pushing this to the December meeting? Raise your right hand. 6-0. All right. Last item is our excise surtax and wheel distribution for August and September. Has everybody had a chance to review those? Any comments? I'll entertain the motion that we've received them and reviewed them. Beer. Rick Scheid. All right, got first and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. All right, so that takes us into new business, just kind of general. They have a groundbreaking ceremony today for the Sheets' Water Park at the YMCA at 4 p.m. That starts, for those that can make it. Kind of general conversation for the council to be thinking about over the course of the next couple months, as I have resigned my positions with the Solid Waste District Board and Economic Development Board, EDC. Both boards have been informed that it may be January before they see an appointment with the caucuses that need to take place and replacements for the 3 council members, so they are on board with that. Then lastly, today is Rick's last meeting with us. December, he will be at his new commissioner training in Indianapolis. And Rick, I can't thank you enough for your years that you've given to Steuben County. I'm going to give everybody a chance to talk, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to you. But for me personally, you've been a great mentor and a great friend, and I wish you well.
I feel like we did this already. This time I'm not gonna cry though. So, yeah, I'm gonna try really hard. Thank you for being our leader. You were my leader my first year. You took my hundreds of phone calls. You never once sent me to voicemail. You answered every text. Thank you. Thank you. I wouldn't have learned as much as I've learned in the last 2 years if you hadn't been right beside me, either on this side or this side. You're going to be missed from here, but I'm glad you're not going away.
Thank you.
Yes, I look very much forward to you being in the commissioner's spot because we have this working relationship already and it's been a great pleasure to serve with you.
You've been our leader in an eloquent manner for years. I appreciate all of the knowledge. I appreciate you listening to all the different opinions. And I love it that we can all walk away and even though we don't vote the same, we can still be friends. And you've been the epitome of seeing that happen. And I'm so glad that you will now be on commission board and we can still have that wonderful lasting relationship that we've had for years. And we have a cake for you back here to thank you for that. And y'all are welcome to have some cake with us.
Dan?
Yeah, Rick, it is always comforting to tackle tough things in our meetings, having your perspective and your knowledge and your background as our senior person on the council. Your experience is always something that, without it, I mean, we would have not had the ability to make as solid the decisions as we had. It's very comforting to have you there. And so conversely, it's going to be a little frightening not to have you there with all of your experience because we relied on it heavily. Looking forward to your time on the commissioner board being selfless and interested in serving all facets of Steuben County as it's been on your council board. We're going to be blessed to have that there. We got a lot of work to do to fill your shoes, and I can't tell you, I know you know, but I can't tell everybody how many hours of conversation and discussion we've had just about, trying to understand what's best for this county. And then I always appreciate those and respect those. And you gave 100% to the job you had as council person and as president of the council. And I don't know that any of us can emulate that as well as you did. So thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Kelly?
I'll save mine for later. But thank you for always being behind me and supporting me.
I'm going to reach out to the audience before we turn the floor over to you, Rick. Commissioner Howard? You two served on the council board together for a few years.
I just look forward to more of the same. That's as simply as I can put it.
Commissioner Shelton?
Yes.
You as well, you two served at the same table on the council board.
Yes, Rick, what's been stated here is point on, we appreciated all your service and your opinions and wish you well in your seat on the commissioner board.
Commissioner Laughlin?
Yeah, we're excited to have you, bring you on board. It's not like you're going anywhere. You're just different day, right? So
Different
perspective, correct. So we're definitely excited to have you, and next year's gonna be a great year.
Sheriff, do you have anything to add?
My goodness. Thank you for your support. You have been wonderful. I look forward to working with you as a commissioner. There is one time in 2011.
Same time.
Leave that in the file, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I have appreciated your steadfast, your rock. So I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Rick, the floor is yours.
Yeah, how do you sum up? Nothing? Oh, 13 years. 13 years. So it's, I've worked with 3 different auditors. Each one awesome in their own respect. Kelly, you're right there, you're gonna be great. Yep, keep going. Working with each and every one of you, I've seen the council change over from, when I got on being this kid, so to say, because all of the council people that were there were my parents' age at the point. So it was a little daunting, and then within 2 years, the council changed so much that I guess when Ruth and Dan come on, that all of a sudden I'm the most senior person, so. Working with, the county, all the departments, wow, what can I say? It's been enlightening, it's been enjoyable. I hope I can continue to serve this county in the same respect, but at just a little higher level. And I look forward to still maintaining all those relationships that I have throughout the county. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
It's been fun. So Rick, we want to present you with your take home with you.
It's officially retired.
So
Officially retired, yes.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Wait,
Rick Scheib,
I have something to say before we adjourn. Oh,
let me get a second first.
sorry.
Do I have a second?
Second, the motion to adjourn.
No.
Any further discussion?
Next Tuesday, November the 19th, is the legislative committee. I told them that I would pass it on. There's a legislative session in the morning for training. And then they plan to walk over in the afternoon to the State House and talk to legislators. And the comptroller is also holding an open house. If anyone is interested in going to Indianapolis next Tuesday. Let me tell you how much stuff is on the board about legislation this next year.
Yeah.
There isn't a thing that they're not going to talk about or attempt to change.
What time do we have to be down there on Tuesday?
It would be Tuesday morning, really. I think it starts at 9. So it'd be the morning in with a class with Ryan Hoff and some other speakers, and then the afternoon over at the State House. But I told him that I would share the information.
Thank you.
It's through AIC.
Okay.
Very good. Anything else?
Yep. You're gonna let me make the last motion, right?
Oh, you just did?
I didn't make it yet.
Oh.
Wait a minute. But in that, I was a little remiss because there's gonna be 4 remaining council people here. Dan, Bruce, Lisa, Christina. You're gonna have a daunting task of 3 new people at the same time. I wish you luck. But also